She had collapsed at his threshold, exhaustion seeping from every bone in her body. Mariam, the household maid, had worked from dawn's first pale light until the moon cast its silver glow, her tired hands folding laundry, her weary feet brushing dust from polished floors. Her little boy, Yusuf, clung to her skirts as her shift ended, rubbing sleep from his eyes. There was nowhere else to rest. So, in a moment of desperation, she had crept into the ornate guest chamber, the Sheikh's own suite, and laid Yusuf on the soft covers. With trembling limbs, Mariam curled beside him, her head pillowed on his discarded silk cushion, certain this mistake would cost her everything. At dawn, the door creaked. She bolted upright, heart hammering like a drum, only to come face to face with Sheikh Hassan himself. His robes were immaculate, his gaze unreadable. Mariam's breath caught as shame and fear flooded her. He stood silent for what felt like an eternity, while Yusuf stirred and blinked his big brown eyes. Mariam clasped, her hands, head bowed. I'm sorry, Your Highness," she whispered, her voice cracking. "I didn't mean— my boy was so tired." She braced for the lash of anger, but instead, Hassan knelt beside the bed. He reached out, brushing a loose curl from Yusuf's forehead with gentle fingers. "Your son needed rest," he said, quietly. His voice carried understanding. Mariam lifted her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I thought I would be fired," she said softly, fear and relief warring in her eyes. Hassan smiled, a gentle curve that warmed the ornate chamber. "No," he replied. "You will keep your position, but there is more." He rose and extended a hand to Mariam. "Let me help you." Within days, her life transformed. Sheikh Hassan arranged a brighter, simpler room above the stables, closer to morning light and cooler at night, with a soft mattress for Yusuf and a small cot for Mariam. He hired a nanny to assist her and ensured Yusuf attended the village school with other children his age, his curiosity and laughter no longer stifled by exhaustion. Each morning, Mariam opened her door to find a bowl of fresh fruit and warm milk waiting by her bed, and occasionally a handwritten note from Hassan. "May your day be light and your heart unburdened." Rumors swirled through the household, the merciful sheikh who chose compassion over punishment. Other staff watched in awe as Mariam's shoulders eased from constant tension and her smile returned, bright as desert sun on white sand. Yusuf skipped through corridors, his small hand clutching his mother's as they went to school together. The dignity she had feared losing was restored, not by charity alone, but by the sheikh's recognition of her worth. That evening, as Mariam and Yusuf sat on the terrace watching the sun sink behind date palms, Hassan appeared quietly at her side. He carried 2 cups of mint tea. Without a word, he handed one to Mariam. She accepted it, warmth flooding her hands. He settled on the low cushion beside her, gaze fixed on the horizon. After a long silence, he said, "You are more than a maid to me. You are the mother of my people's future." Mariam's breath caught. "I only did what any mother would do," she replied, voice trembling. Hassan shook his head. "You did what I lacked the power to do. Show mercy when it was needed most." He placed a hand over her own. Mariam felt the firmness of his conviction, the sincerity in his eyes. "From this day, you and Yusuf will be under my protection. You may speak freely with me of your needs, and I will listen." Mariam bowed, her head, tears glistening. "Thank you, Your Highness." "Call me Hassan," he said softly. In that moment, barriers of class melted away, replaced by mutual respect and shared humanity. The next morning, Yusuf woke to sunlight filtering through gauzy curtains. He turned to find his mother absent, but a note lay on the bedside table. "Library, 9 a.m. Hassan." Clutching it tight, Yusuf dressed quickly, full of questions. Mariam waited in the marble foyer, her heart fluttering like a sparrow's. Hassan appeared, as graceful as dawn. "Thank you for coming," he said, leading them to a grand hall lined with shelves of ancient tomes. He beckoned to an oak table stacked with leather-bound volumes. "These are histories of our land, of people who rose through hardship," he explained, opening one to an illustration of a humble woman inspiring her village to rebuild after flood. "Compassion changes destinies," he said. Mariam ran her fingers across the page, tears pricking her eyes. Hassan continued, "Your courage last night showed me compassion's true power. Now, I want you to help me extend it beyond this palace." He described his vision: a community center where working mothers could leave their children safely, where literacy courses would empower caregivers, where equitable wages and healthcare support would break cycles of poverty. Mariam's voice trembled. "Me? How can I help?" Hassan's eyes glowed. "You understand struggle. You have empathy. I need you to lead this center, to shape programs so they truly serve our people." Doubt rose in her mind. "I'm just a maid," she protested. Hassan's gaze was steady. "You are more than your station. You have wisdom they need." Over the next hour, he outlined budgets, clinic partnerships, volunteer training, an ambitious blueprint. Mariam listened, heart swelling with purpose and pride. Weeks passed in a whirl. Mariam traded her uniform for simple robes of service, overseeing renovations of a street-side villa donated by the Sheikh. Yusuf laughed with other children in a colorful playroom. Mariam held workshops teaching reading and budgeting. Each day posed new challenges: bureaucratic pushback, skeptical elders, but Hassan visited often, offering guidance and encouragement. One afternoon, the village headman, stern and skeptical, demanded proof that the center would not falter like others. Mariam invited him into a classroom where mothers learned to sew masks. One woman stood to speak. "Before this place, I feared losing my children while I worked. Now I have peace of mind and skills to earn more." Another mother described learning about nutrition. The headman studied their faces, saw dignity where pity might have lived. He bowed his head. "I misjudged," he admitted. "This center is a blessing." As the sun set, Hassan joined Mariam by the fountain in the courtyard. Water glittered like crystal tears. "You have done more good than even I imagined," he said softly. Mariam shook her head. "I could only carry out your kindness." Hassan smiled and embraced her and Yusuf, now blinking sleepily but radiating joy. Months later, the inaugural anniversary celebration brought villagers from miles around. Hassan stood beside Mariam as they cut a ribbon, unveiling a mural depicting a mother and child under a protective wing, a tribute to their journey. The crowd cheered. Children danced, mothers hugged Mariam, and Hassan's eyes glistened with pride. That night, under lanterns strung like stars, Mariam spoke to the gathered families. "I once feared losing everything for caring for my child. But Sheikh Hassan saw my heart, not my station. Today, this center stands because he chose compassion over judgment. And because each of you believed in yourselves and in each other, we have grown stronger. May we continue to lift one another." Tears flowed freely, hearts bound in shared dignity. In the months and years that followed, the center expanded into schools, clinics, and cooperatives. Mariam's leadership became legendary, her voice an inspiration to young women dreaming of dignity. Sheikh Hassan's legacy grew beyond kingship. He became known as the ruler who listened, who honored every soul. Mariam never forgot the night. She lay trembling in his bedchamber, believing she'd be cast aside. Instead, she became a pillar of her community. Yusuf, once a tired child hidden beneath silk sheets, grew into a young man leading literacy campaigns, embodying the promise his mother and the Sheikh had nurtured together. Their story endured as a testament. True leadership arises not from decree alone, but from recognizing humanity's shared struggles and responding with empathy. And in a world often divided by station, a tired maid and her son found in their Sheikh not an overlord, but a partner in building a future defined by justice, dignity, and hope. As the lanterns dim and the laughter fades, we're left with a question. What would you do if you found a tired maid and her child asleep in your own suite? Would you show judgment or mercy? This is the choice that defines our humanity. Sheikh Hassan saw not a rule broken, but a human being in need. And in that single act of mercy, he didn't just change one life. He ignited a chain reaction of hope that uplifted an entire community. It's a powerful reminder that true change begins when compassion meets courage. If this tale of resilience moved you, share it to inspire that same compassion in others. Subscribe to Humanity Stories, where we believe every life has a powerful story waiting to be told.